Hello, everyone. I'm Dalton Burdett,
I'm Nick Ericchio.
and we are the Movie Nights.
Well, some of them.
If you're watching this because you want to hear our uncensored
Unfiltered.
thoughts and opinions on the world of movies and entertainment, so kick back,
Relax.
and thank you for being part of the conversation. A couple things to point out. One, there is some pressure washing going on right outside my window. If you can hear it, I apologize. However, it does make me feel better that I'm not the only one that got a letter from the fucking HOA, so that at least feels like it's less singled out. So that's the silver lining there. Also,
I can't hear it on my end if that helps you.
great. That's good to hear. Also, Nick and I have had some trouble with the audio sync for the live stream recently. So if it seems off, if the audio is too quick or too slow, let me know. I will try to adjust it live. I have a millisecond delay timer going on, so it's very difficult to keep track of, but we're going to do our best for you and try to go through there. But guys, we have a fucking hell of a show for you today. So much
On
to
a
go
Sunday.
into. On a Sunday, because it was Halloween on Friday, which was a lot of fun. But guys, so much to go into, so much to talk about. It's borderline ridiculous. And thankfully, a lot of the storylines have like a nice through line, so we're able to do like a little segues even. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Of course,
It's gonna seem like it's a more well-produced show than it actually is.
precisely. That's
Like,
precisely.
wow, they
right.
planned this out well, and it's like luck, baby, luck.
That's what happens. That's what happens. But as always, guys, we are going to be asking for your participation. If you're in the live chat and you want to talk, I will pull up your comments on the screen like so. And in between topics, we'll happily address you and go over what you want to talk about to be a part of this community. So before we dive into it, Nick, of course, we're going to start with the trailer. And the big trailer that we're going to be talking about, obviously, it has to be Scream 7. Scream 7 dropped a trailer. We've been following the story of Scream 7 ever since it first started getting reported. It was originally going to be directed by Christopher Landon, who did films such as Freaky and Happy Death Day, and it was going to return Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, and kind of the core four of Scream 5 and 6. Melissa Barrera was infamously fired for remarks that she made that were seen as anti-Semitic when really they weren't. It was a whole thing. Should not have been fired. I think everyone can agree that Melissa Barrera should not have been fired. That fallout eventually led to other creative people leaving, such as Christopher Landon, such as Jenna Ortega. It's up for debate if Jenna Ortega left because of that or left before, and then when was trying to come back, heard that and was like, I actually don't want to do it. So, there's a lot of going on. But through all of that, Scream 6 had a controversy of not bringing back Neve Campbell. Neve Campbell saying that the offer they made her was just really insulting, saying that she just did not feel like that was an offer that she deserved for her character and what she brought to the franchise. She came back to do Scream 5 because the directors personally reached out and asked her to, because they're honoring Wes Craven, and she agreed. So to kind of make up for the fact that they wrongly fired Melissa Barrera, they brought back Neve Campbell. But not just Neve Campbell, they brought back Kevin Williamson as a writer who was the writer of Scream 1, 2, and 4. He is the co-writer of this and the director, his first time directing in the series. Lots to look forward to, lots to go on. And the trailer came out, and the internet seems to be relatively divided on this trailer, Nicholas. And personally, I have to say, I really like the trailer. I think it's a good trailer. I think it starts off, as you can see here, with this meta thing of staying at the Stu's house Airbnb, which you can actually do in real life, which is something I've wanted to do for a while, but we'll see if I'll ever actually be able to do it. But then just going into it and seeing how it's basically... Is it following a lot of tropes of horror movies that Scream would typically make fun of? Sure. But I, of course, with Kevin Williamson writing this thing, think that that's going to be addressed in the film. Absolutely. I think it will be. A lot of people pointing out similarities to 2018's Halloween. I also think that's going to be addressed, considering that the Halloween franchise is often addressed in the Scream franchise in a meta way anyway. I also think that just seeing Neve Campbell back was great. I love Sidney Prescott. I love her in the role. I think it's going to be interesting and fun. You do get two brief glimpses of two of the core four who come back, which it's Jasmine Savoy Brown and is it Mason Gooding? Is that his name?
Yes.
Both who do excellent work in that show. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see how they interact with the story, how that's going to go down. Was surprised they didn't put any of the familiar faces that were publicly announced that are coming back. They're clearly hiding something there, so I'm interested to see how that goes.
I remember Matthew Lillard is back as Stu. Well, Matthew Lillard is back.
Yeah. We don't know
Right.
what capacity. Yeah.
I think that's what they've been saying. Who do you remember off the top of your head who else it was announced?
I believe it
Was it the guy
was
from Scream 3? Was it the
yes,
brother?
Scott Foley from Scream 3 and
Scott
David
Foley.
and David Arquette Dewey were back as well. They had a lot going on.
Right.
So it was interesting
have a lot
to
going
just try to
on.
see how that was going to play out in the trailer, but it didn't. Before I throw it over to you, I just want to say that I liked the trailer. You know, it didn't blow me away, but I didn't hate it either. And I think that it's going to be an interesting movie. And I recently rewatched the Scream franchise just for the month of October and Halloween. And I forgot how much I actually really like Scream 4. And that was the last movie that Kevin Williamson wrote. And just having the stab parodies in the beginning, and then having the line of the franchise, in my opinion, of Nev Campbell saying, "You forgot the first rule of remakes, don't fuck with the original." And like, that movie understood the meta-ness of a horror remake in the 2000s so well. And then I think Scream 5 understood toxic fandom and requels so well. And 6 took it in a new direction, and I'm looking forward to seeing the commentary on this, because I bet you there's going to be meta commentary of, are we going to ignore the events of what happened, or are we going to talk about what happened before, or is this like what's the situation with that and with this and yada yada? Like, it's going to be fun. Nick, I'm throwing it over to you. What did you think of the first trailer for Scream 7?
So before I get into my thoughts on Scream 7, going to Scream 4. So at work for Halloween, right? Everyone dressed up, whatever. One of my coworkers went on to the TV. It was like an Apple TV. Downloaded Tubi. Is that the free one?
Yeah.
Tubi. Downloaded Tubi and just immediately put on the first Evil Dead movie. I was like, all right, you know what? Respect, game recognized game. All right. Immediately after, I didn't know Tubi had such a very interesting, wide-ranging horror collection. They have all the Terrifier movies, Evil Dead, Insidious, Sinister, and then Scream 4, which auto-played after Evil Dead.
Amazing.
So it was a great day. You know, I was like, oh, let me watch the opening, because I loved the opening. You know, like you're saying, the metal is. I forgot it was like 20 minutes, and I was like, all right, I should actually probably get back to work now.
Yeah.
But I think Scream 4 is great. As for Scream 7, you know, I'm mixed on it. I'm in the divided camp. I'm skewing more positive, but like I'm right in the middle on it.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer didn't sell me on its existence.
Okay.
I think that's the best way for me to say it. Maybe I love the opening, the idea of like Stu's house becoming this Scream stabbed themed Airbnb. Like, I thought that was genius. You know, especially in the past like year, we've seen like these themed Airbnbs coming out. You know, you had that very famous like X-Men one that came out, which was like the X-Mansion and everything like that. It, to me, it felt like this should have been the first one of this rebooted series. Like, to me, this felt more like 5. It's like, oh, we're catching up. You know, Stu's house is an Airbnb. We're catching up with Sydney, who has a family now, and now Ghostface returns. And that's just kind of what I took away from it. You know, we're getting out of Woodsboro, it looks like. And going to wherever Sydney is. And, you know, I do like the concept of it kind of targeting her family and it kind of being this family story at the heart. I think it's going to be very interesting. I am interested to see how the newer legacy characters, you know, that the remaining 2 of the core 4, how they work into it, how they're going to address, you know, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega's exit. Especially because I feel like that's not something you could just be like, you know, we're not going to not talk about it.
Yeah, especially with the other 2 characters in the movie. Exactly.
And, you know, I'm a little sad. You know, if you watch any of our reviews, you know, especially for the old Scream movies, you know, I am a Melissa Barrera fan as a person. I've never been really big on her acting. You know, I always thought she was kind of a weaker performer in these Scream movies. Dalton and I disagree hard on that. She was in a movie called Your Monster that came out, I think it was last year or maybe earlier this year. She was phenomenal in it. And I watched that and I was like, oh man, I'm so sad she's not in Scream 7. And I am sad also Christopher Landon exiting. You know, I really like Freaky. I really like both Happy Death Day movies. But, you know, I think if anyone's going to come in, I think it makes sense that it's Kevin Williamson. I wanted more from the trailer, especially I appreciate the restraint of them, you know, not showing Stu, not showing all these legacy characters coming back and how they're going to come into capacity within the film. But the trailer just kind of left me underwhelmed. You know, I was like, just like, all right. I'll see it, but like not like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
That was a lot of rambling thoughts. I had a lot of thoughts on that.
It's okay. I got a question about Sydney's daughter, okay? Because Scream 4, 2011, no kids mentioned. Scream 5, or Scream 2022, stroller in the park. Scream 7, high school. Something's not adding up. Either that's a second child in Scream 5, or something's not adding up. So I want to just...
Maybe she's a stepmom.
Yes, or a babysitter.
This is their bond.
Yeah, and like I saw some stuff online too that I'm like, I do think we should wait for the movie to come out. Like there was someone saying like in Scream 3 she was a crisis counselor's helpline, in Scream 4 she was an author, and now in Scream 7 she's a coffee shop owner. That seems like regression, and I'm like, I'm going to see that in the context of the movie. Like I feel like the story they're going to pitch us is that she's finally been able to move to a new town, establish herself, and like in close to like being able to just live her own life, like opened up this thing. Like I feel like it's not like an insult, like especially coming from Kevin Williamson, who created this character. I so doubt it. Like I so doubt that that's what's going on. Last thing I'll mention.
It's probably a thing like she's in hiding, right? She was an author, you know. It's a very reclusive profession, and now this is her saying like, I'm out in the public.
Yeah.
I own this business. I interact with hundreds of people a day who don't try to stab me.
Yeah, fair. And I think that, you know, last thing I'll say on the trailer is I'm going to say the same thing I said when Scream 5 came out and when Scream 6 came out, and that's this. Please don't fucking kill Sidney Prescott. Please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Please do not kill Sidney Prescott. Part of what makes this franchise so great is the fact that it has a continuing character, one, but two, it's the fact that Sidney Prescott is a survivor. See, I see Sidney Prescott the same way that I see like Ash Williams. Two very, very different characters, but you can't kill either character. Like the franchises they are in, even if you never see Ash again, at least he didn't die. Like the Deadites never killed him. Like that's part of what made that character so withstanding, and it's like just part of cinema history, is that everything that was thrown at them, they got through it somehow. And that's how I feel exactly about Sidney Prescott as well, is that she is a survivor. And I would feel very upset if she died, even if Kevin Williamson came up with a really beautiful way to do it. And maybe I watch it, to be fair, maybe I watch it and Sidney dies and I go, hey, they handled that perfectly and I thought it was handled well. Even me, who's usually open about fucking everything on this show, I'm having a hard time being open-minded about that possibility. So
Gail's eating it then.
No, I don't think so. I don't
think
so.
You think they're gonna keep Courtney Cox around too?
I do. But we'll see. Guys, what did you think about the trailer for Scream 7? Let us know in the comments below as we move on to our main topic story. That's right. We're doing the main topic story first. We're throwing it around, baby. We're doing everything fun and different today. And that is this. A while ago on the show, Nick and I had talked about the fact that Steven Spielberg actually went to Paramount and went to Activision and said that he wanted to make a Call of Duty movie. And that he did, but he wanted what he gets with the movie, which is Final Cut, full creative control, you know, the whole shebang. And Paramount and Activision said no. And Nick and I are both like, guys, what the fuck? Like, if Steven Spielberg says they want to make a Call of Duty movie, you let him fucking make a Call of Duty movie. That's so stupid. Who cares if it's different from the game? It's Steven Spielberg, and he said he came to you, and you said no. Are you insane? However, the Call of Duty movie is still active. And while we were upset that Mr. Spielberg is not involved, the names they got, pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good stuff. Deadline is reporting that Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg are teaming up for Activision's Call of Duty movie at Paramount. I'm going to read from the Deadline article here. After landing the rights to turn one of the world's biggest video games into an epic movie, Paramount has now landed two A-list filmmakers to develop it. Sources tell Deadline that Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg. Peter Berg, by the way, is the director of such films as Deepwater Horizon and Patriots Day, both of which are really great films. He did make another film after that with Mark Wahlberg that was trash. What was that movie called? Mile 22? Is that what that movie was called?
Yeah,
that
with
movie,
Mark Wahlberg and Lauren Cohen.
Yeah, that movie sucked. However, Patriots Day and Deepwater Horizon. Deepwater Horizon is one of the most underrated movies I've ever watched. That movie rules. But anyway, going back to this. Let's see here. Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg have joined Paramount and Activision to develop and produce a Call of Duty movie, with Paramount distributing the live-action feature film. The pick will be designed to thrill its massive global fan base by delivering on the hallmarks of what players love about the games, a series of first-person shooters centered on military campaigns while expanding the franchise to entirely new audiences. Berg and Sheridan will co-write, and Berg will be the director. I think, as someone who was very critical of Steven Spielberg, of them not closing with Steven Spielberg, I think this is an excellent move, to be honest. One, I think that, you're getting the guy, Taylor Sheridan, who has a massive television empire over at Paramount, which we're going to fucking talk about on the show today. Don't just you wait. And who also is a prolific, amazing screenwriter and director, directing the film Wind River, which is fucking phenomenal, writing films such as Hell or High Water and Sicario, fucking wrote Sicario. You get this guy to write and produce Call of Duty, and you get the director of Patriots Day and Deepwater Horizon to make Call of Duty, and Lone Survivor. Peter Berg made Lone Survivor. Oh my god, so he's already got experience. That just came to me. So he's already got experience making like a military type movie. This is easy decision, yes. And what both of those filmmakers do so well is having what the article mentioned, which is a global mass appeal. Because, when people think of, like, Taylor Sheridan's television work, they think of a lot of things that just appeal to, like, the Midwest television audience. Peter Berg making films like Lone Survivor, Patriots Day, like making movies about, tragedies or things that happen in the military in America. But both of those directors have made films and produced films that are for everyone. Like, if you've never seen Wind River, that movie and it talking about how the American government just constantly fucks Native Americans over, like, it's a great film. I love Wind River. I could talk about that movie like all day. But the fact that they're able to balance many different sides of the spectrum when it comes to their audience, I think is a really genius move for Activision, because they want their game to do that. My big question is this. I have no problem with who's making it. I think it's going to be great. My question is this. What game are you adapting? That's honestly, or if you're not adapting a game, what time frame are you doing? Because the reason I say that is because some filmmakers, like I think Steven Spielberg, I don't know this is speculation, was probably going to go back to the roots of Call of Duty and go to World War II, because that's where the franchise started. Makes sense. Steven Spielberg's trying to make what was that movie for DC he was going to make? Was it Blackhawks? Was that what it was called? I forget.
Yeah, the fighter pilot movie.
Yes.
I think it's Blackhawks.
So he had that itch he was trying to scratch for a while, so maybe that's what he was going to do with Call of Duty. Everyone who's played Call of Duty agrees, pretty unanimously, with some debate, that Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare game, is the best Call of Duty campaign. And when the game came out, when I was a wee lad, I'm old now, but when I was a wee lad and that game came out, there was talk even then on the early internet days of like, yo, this would make an awesome fucking movie. Like if they made this into a movie. And then Modern Warfare 2 fucking blew up pop culture. I'm sure you were around for that, Nicholas, as well. And like, that's a franchise. Those 3 games is a franchise right there. And I'm wondering, with the team making it, which time frame, which game they're going to go for. If it's me, you do COD 4. Don't obviously call the movie COD 4, but you could just call the movie Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and everyone would be like, oh my god, yes, I'm in. I'm in for this. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think they go back. I think you start with 1 and build out from there, right? I think you just do the original Call of Duty and then take it from there.
But
I mean, okay.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you think the risk of starting a franchise on a World War II movie is a good idea? Because a lot of World War II movies, with the exception of like fucking Inglourious Bastards, are basically just about the horrors of World War II and how awful it was. Can you make like an action franchise based off of that period of time? Because what the Modern Warfare games did is they took place in the future. Now, granted, now we've passed the future, but like you could do it again. Like you could start off Modern Warfare and say it's 2040, and like here's what's going on, and like that way there can be some separation. Even if you talk about current events, you have the fictional separation of, oh well, this is in the future, so I don't have to think about my world right now. Even if I see it reflected, I can just jump into this franchise and have it be like an escape rather than a mirror. Even though it would be both.
My inclination would be still to start at the first one, but I see the idea of, I think that Modern Warfare, out of, when you're taking Call of Duty as a whole, that is kind of its own separate entity as well. And I think that
Mhm.
is the strongest one to do as well. It's like Halo, you're going to do Reach, you're going to jump there. So
Yeah.
I would do Reach at least. But I think Modern Warfare probably is the strongest place to start. I just would like them to go back to their roots. Back to the OG would be my guess, because I think there's been great war movies out of that, and I'd be interested to see that with the Call of Duty banner on it. Um, as for Taylor Sheridan, I mean, I don't want to say if you couldn't get Spielberg, this is the next best choice, but this is definitely the choice where I was like, you know what, that may have been the right decision.
For sure.
Outside of Steven Spielberg's always the right decision, right? But when I heard this, I went, "Oh, good for them."
Yeah, same.
I was like, "That's a good move. That's strong."
Mhm.
I saw a great tweet. I forgot who posted it, but it was just like, Taylor Sheridan writes movies for cinephiles and TV for boomers, and that's the and that's the best way I could encompass my thoughts on it. Is this is going to be the overlap of that? So I'm very interested to see what comes out of it, because I mean, like them or not, as I said, I've watched clips from the TV shows. They're not my cup of tea, but I love Wind River, I love Hell or High Water, I love Sicario,
Mhm.
So his movie side I'm all for, so that gets me very excited for this. But you can't deny, whether you like him or not, call him Boomer TV, call him whatever, Coworker TV, I think I saw as well. You can't deny he has built an empire out of this series.
Massive success.
And for them all to be, hailed and acclaimed in the way that they are, series over series, like it's insane. My dad doesn't really go to the movies a lot. My dad doesn't watch a lot of TV. He watches every Taylor Sheridan show. I'd be very curious to see his thoughts on a Taylor Sheridan movie, but the TV shows, Landman, Lioness, like he's pumping them out, and he's getting huge names in it. I mean, Lioness stars Nicole Kidman and Zoe Saldana. Like they have massive names coming. Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren. I mean, Kevin Costner. It kind of. We'll get to him in a bit, but Sylvester Stallone. I'm just naming actors at this point, but I mean, he's built a huge empire over at Paramount that is probably a good segue into our next thing. Unless you have more thoughts on Call of Duty.
No, it's the perfect segue. The perfect segue to talk about our next story, and that is this. Taylor Sheridan is writing that movie for Paramount, and they're trying to pump out the movie, I think, next year, which means he started writing it like yesterday. Actually, hold on. Before we move on, Hannah in the live chat says Nazi Zombies by Steven Spielberg or nothing else. I agree. I'm in.
Hold on. I want them to make the movie that is the zombie campaign with Nixon and JFK and is it Fidel Castro?
Yeah, I think it's been so long, but yeah.
Make that a movie. I want actors playing JFK and Nixon fighting zombies.
See, for me, I think the studio should just not be a coward. And like, if you do a Black Ops movie, for example, and you make that campaign, have a 45-minute post-credit scene. Just like
Black Ops would be a great place to start over Modern Warfare, I think.
It might be, but again, I wasn't at Vietnam, which is also like a it's like a like how do we do that?
Yes, but that's the kind of commentary that Taylor Sheridan likes in his movies.
You know what? That's true.
About the Native Americans with
That's
Wind
true.
River. I mean, I think that'd be a very interesting thing to play with.
No, I think you have a good point. There. Anyway, moving into our next story, and that's this. Taylor Sheridan is writing that Call of Duty movie for Paramount. They want it out next year, so he's working on it immediately. Why would they need Taylor Sheridan to start writing that right away? Like as we mentioned, like he has a TV empire. Like, isn't he busy? Like, what's going on with that? Well, in one of the bigger movie news stories we've covered in a while, at least I think this is enormous, by the way. Like, I've talked to people who don't think it's a big deal, and I'm like, I think you guys are crazy. This is a massive, massive, massive deal. And that is this. Taylor Sheridan has signed a new deal, but not with Paramount. He will be leaving his empire at Paramount and going to NBC Universal starting in 2028-2029, but that's just for shows. His film deal with Paramount ends in early 2026, I think February or March, which means starting in February and March, he can start making movies for Universal right away. This is enormous. Like, for those of you who don't know, like, the gravity of this, Paramount Plus, literally, I think this is not hyperbole, Paramount Plus would not exist if it was not for Taylor Sheridan and his shows. I'm being dead serious. Like, the work, because, like, we even talked about on the show, like, Paramount Plus coming this close to dying, like, constantly. But Taylor Sheridan would just pump out these shows that he would make for Paramount Plus. And they were massively, massively popular and successful. Like, huge streaming hits. Like, one of the few actual wins in the streaming era other than, like, Stranger Things. Like, a massive success with those shows. And the reason why he left is kind of a little bit astounding, in that essentially what went down is the new leaders of Paramount, David Ellison and the Ellison family, just didn't attempt to keep him, so he left. Is kind of what happened. The story of him leaving was originally broken by Puck News. I'm not a subscriber to Puck. I don't pay for it, so I'm going to pull from Deadline, who also talked about the X a little bit, so let me just pull this up for you here. The title of the article is How the Battle for Yellowstone's Taylor Sheridan Was Won and Lost. At the end of the day, NBC's Universal's poach of Yellowstone co-creator Taylor Sheridan came down to money. Sources said that the 5-year deal begins in 2029, earlier for movies as I mentioned, at an unprecedented $1 billion territory. This is how it will work out in the creator EP and the writer fees in the back end if these shows follow through on his plans to create 20 shows. 20 shows for NBC and Peacock. There are slot guarantees, the equivalent of put pictures all over the place. But there are many steps in between, including an example when Donna Langley wants something, she finds a way to get it. Which, by the way, I need to point out, Donna Langley is a goddamn badass. Like, Nick and I talk all the time about Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi over at Warner Brothers. Donna Langley, the person who runs, like, Comcast, NBC, Universal, is insane. Like, the moves that they pull off, like getting Christopher Nolan from Warner Brothers, that's Donna Langley. And the countless moves you're going to see with other people, like a Taylor Sheridan. The article and the Puck article went on to talk about how she flew out to Taylor's house personally, like on his ranch, to be like, let's talk about you coming over to Universal. Like that, like she will go to those lengths of being like, this is how it's going to go down. Like, we really want you. And this article kind of goes on to talk about money and everything, but it also brings up some interesting points which were covered by many other outlets. Like, when this story broke, so many outlets had their take on it, so it was interesting to kind of digest and see all of them. And what this article kind of points out is that David Ellison is somebody who doesn't like having people above him, and Taylor Sheridan has the mindset of, I'm 12 for 12 on Paramount Plus. What are you going to tell me what to do? Like, are you serious? Like, that's kind of the vibe here. And honestly, he's not wrong. Like, he's like, listen, I'm 12 for 12. And apparently both the Puck story and some of this story and other, I highly just Googled this happening. You'll find all the articles. Apparently, there were a lot of situations that occurred that kind of led to this happening. One is they never approached him about a new deal, even though his contract's coming up, which he didn't love. 2, they started giving him more notes on his shows than normal. When he's like, guys, I run the shit. Like Denzel in Gladiator 2, he's like, I own your house. It's kind of his vibe. And he's like, stop giving me notes. Like, this is not how this works. Like, this relationship works with me. And then on top of that, I believe it was the Puck article. It might have been a Variety one where the Ellison family, which is no secret that they have close ties and are friends with the current presidential administration. And that's why we think Paramount's going to ultimately end up owning Warner Brothers, because it's up to the government to approve the sale. But they wanted Taylor Sheridan. They approached Taylor Sheridan about, and this is where your comment comes really funny, Nicholas. They approached Taylor Sheridan about making a show about the history of America, like 250, or like whatever the number is for the years of America. Like, hey, let's make a show about the history of America, and they were going to kind of influence Paramount and the Ellisons. We're going to influence like the types of stories being told in that series for Taylor Sheridan. And Taylor Sheridan's answer was, that seems too political. I don't want to do that. And you're talking about the boomer dad TV guys. Like, nah, it's too political. I don't want to do it.
He's like, no, my guys ride up on horses and help moms fix flat tires. That's the type of politicalization I go for.
Yeah, and it's like, he's like, no, I'm good. And like, it led to a lot of just Taylor Sheridan basically being like, fuck you then. Like, I'm done. And where he really kind of wins too is Paramount owns all of those Yellowstone shows and all of the other shows that Taylor Sheridan did, which means they can literally keep making seasons without him if they want. But guess what? He's the creator and the EP, which means he's going to get paid. It's like, if you keep making his shows, he's still getting paid. Not his normal salary from being an overall deal, but he's still getting money. And he's going to be making money on the new stuff over here for Universal. And at the rate he pumps this stuff out, like, David Ellison, this is like the new Paramount's first big loss is losing Taylor Sheridan. To be honest, huge loss for them. And that's why they're like, Call of Duty, now. While we have you on contract, write it now. It's kind of the vibe. And yeah.
Oh, he's getting like a first dollar gross 1%. He bartered for some insane deal there.
Buddy, I've never been more excited for a press campaign in my entire life than when that movie comes out.
Oh, man. I mean, to me, it's just insane. I mean, we've talked about all the show, mergers, monopolies, aside, with this new regime at Paramount with David Ellison, he's been making a lot of strong moves that I've been impressed by, especially like signing, was it the UFC?
Mm-hmm.
The UFC deal that they got. I mean, that was an insane pull. And, they have a lot of people with very extensive, I mean, they've had Taylor Sheridan. I think they have a first look with Ryan Reynolds and Maximum Effort. I think Will Smith's company just signed a first look deal with them. They've been making a lot of moves, especially when it comes to, the South Park deals. They've been making a lot of things to keep their people happy. And it's just insane that they took their eye off the ball here, eye off the prize with Taylor Sheridan. Like, that's their golden child. That's their moneymaker. Like, it's insane that they let that slip. And maybe there's more behind the scenes that we're not aware of, between all that. But to me, that just seems like they were like, oh, we're probably good here. We don't have to do anything there. And they just let that slip and he got away. And I think that's, I don't really watch the series, but there's no denying their pop culture claim and infamy with, especially an older generation. And it's an insane loss for them, and I think that's going to hurt them in the long run very deeply, and it's Universal's gain.
Yeah, and I got curious while you were chatting, and just to let you guys know, here are shows all created by Taylor Sheridan on Paramount Plus that you can watch, that he's done for them, okay? Several seasons of Yellowstone, 1883, which was a spinoff of Yellowstone, Mayor of Kingstown, which is still going on, 1923, another spinoff of Yellowstone, Tulsa King, which is still going on, Lawmen, Bass Reeves, oh, he wasn't a writer on that, so never mind, he was just an executive producer, Lioness, which is still currently going on, Landman, which is still currently going on, Y. Marshalls, which he also didn't write, but he did create and executive produce, and The Madison, which is still yet to come out. Holy shit, guys.
And I think there's a Tulsa King spinoff happening with Sam Jackson. I don't know his involvement in that, but I know that's happening.
And when I mention those shows, you might be like, oh, I've heard of them. They're all massive successes. All of them.
An insane Nielsen ratings through the roof. It's insane. It draws people to I don't think my family has many streaming services, but they have Paramount Plus to watch those shows.
And Lioness specifically, another article I read about the situation talked about one of Paramount's problems with Taylor Sheridan was that the budget for that show is crazy because of all the star power they have on it. and they wanted him to cut the budget back, and he was like, "Fuck you! You approved it." Like, no.
It's insane. Like reading that off, it's insane that this deal became: we're forcing you to make a show that you don't want to make. We're going to give you a ton of notes that you don't want to take, but you're going to have to take them. And also, we're not going to really look to renew your deal and work with you. Like, if I was Paramount, I was like, you know what, Taylor Sheridan, blank check, whatever you want, movie or TV. And you know what? And I think they honestly should have looked into even spinning up a studio within Paramount. You know, give Sheridan his own studio to oversee just that corner of that universe, the Paramount Plus Yellowstone universe, whatever you want to call it. I know they're not connected, but like, just give him his own production through that. You know, that's the kind of deals that I would have expected based on what he's done for that company.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm kind of with you 100%. It's a crazy thing, and there's a continuation of this story. It's not really its own story, but you know there's bad blood going on from the deal, like from all of this happening, because, and this just came out yesterday, and I believe I sent it to you yesterday, on the eve of that deal being signed, and on the eve of Paramount saying that they're going to make a lot of layoffs because they're anticipating a potential buy of Warner Brothers, 26 crew members of the new season of Tulsa King, including Sylvester Stallone's own stunt double, were abruptly fired 1 week before the season 4 shoot. This is coming from Deadline. Before it was revealed that Taylor Sheridan was jumping ship to Universal, Paramount was preparing to lay off 1,000 staffers, and several crew members of Sheridan's Paramount Plus drama Tulsa King experienced their own level of shock and awe when it came to address their future. Deadline understands that 26 crew members of Tulsa King's 600-member crew were asked not to return, which was expected to resume production in 1 week. That's fucked up. Like, maybe even Taylor Sheridan knew that this was coming. Like, this is me speculating right now. This is nothing that's been reported. Perhaps word got through the grapevine that they were going to be firing a lot of his crew. And maybe that could have been the straw that broke the camel's back. That's like, if you're going to do that to my people, I'm leaving. Like, it could have been. It could have not been. I don't know. But that sucks, dude. That sucks if you work on that show.
Best believe it's sabotage.
What an excellent pull. Like, honestly, that's the happiest demonetization I will ever receive, is if they get us for that, being fully honest. But yeah, before we move on, any brief thoughts on all those Tulsa King people getting fired?
No, that's insane too, because I know Tulsa King's one of their top performers outside of like the Yellowstone series and spinoff with the is it the Dundons?
I think
Durans, so. Dundons, something like that. And and Sylvester Stallone's someone you want to keep happy too. So it's crazy, especially because I think they fired his stunt double, who I think has been with him for like years. So Stallone's probably pissed. So not only are they pissing off the creator of one of their top performing shows, they're also pissing off the lead actor, who probably doesn't have a season 5 renewal yet, based on the trends here. So it's kind of wild. I don't know why out of all of the different branches, this is the one that they're letting slip. Like they've let Transformers go, really. They have Sonic, but they're like, you know what? Yeah, those are top performers, but like, we're gonna screw with Taylor Sheridan specifically. Is crazy to me.
Yeah, no, it's really baffling. Now, this actually perfectly goes into our next story, and. Guys, this was technically a story last week, and I didn't do it when I was doing the show solo because I wanted Nick to be here so bad for it. And it actually ties into what we just talked about. You'll remember a few seasons ago on Yellowstone, it was reported that Kevin Costner was abruptly leaving and that Taylor Sheridan had let him go. And it was a whole thing where they kind of blew up over Kevin Costner not wanting to commit to the schedule because he wanted to go make those Western movies that only part 1 has come out, which sucks for him. And that Taylor Sheridan was just like, listen, you signed a commitment to these shows. You can make your movie later. Like you signed a commitment. Like, what's the problem? And it got so bad that they fired Kevin Costner and he was gone from that show as the lead. Like, you're talking about the person Taylor Sheridan is and how he's going to act. Like, he's the guy that fired the lead of the show. Like, that's how he's going to be. Well, apparently... Apparently, Kevin Costner did not love the fact that that happened to him, one, but two, didn't love the fact that a lot of the trades and a lot of the deadlines, and especially the Hollywood Reporter story that basically said that he's impossible to work with. Per page 6, which I'm taking from a different website called The Cut, I want to make sure the wording is correct here. I really cannot fuck this up. I don't think you guys understand. Per page 6, Costner is currently channeling his rage into deep-sea diving binges to discover sunken treasure, and apparently it's going pretty well. The source said the actor has found gold coins and emeralds recently in the Caribbean.
Shiver me timbers.
Nick.
There's a movie. There's a movie there.
Have you ever been so mad? You're like, fuck it, I gotta go in the ocean. I gotta start plundering. I gotta start finding treasure. Fucking men will do this before going to therapy, man. And like, you know, he's down there like, someone get James Cameron on the phone. I got some questions about this shit. I gotta figure out some
We need a James Cameron directed treasure hunting movie starring Kevin Costner.
Listen, I got it. It's just Waterworld 2. Just don't be cowards and make Waterworld 2. It's that simple.
Did James Cameron, he didn't direct he directed Waterworld? Or is
no,
that just
but he better make the second one.
That's a Kevin Costner pull.
Yes. Listen, you can't get things greenlit without IP. We have a great story on our hands. Just fucking do it. Just do it. Make Waterworld 2. Oh.
This is just proving the fact that all men yearn for the sea. It beckons and calls to everyone.
Yearn for the sea.
I mean, how is this what?
Oh.
What I want to know is, was this a hobby that he had before? That he's like, all right, time to rediscover myself here, or is this he's like, you know what, fuck it. Let's set sail to the Caribbean. I gotta look for jewels.
Listen, I hope it was a hobby. It'd be very strange if he had never done it before and was just sitting on the edge of a dock and was like, I gotta get in there. I gotta.
There's treasure in there. I just know it.
I hope he read that article and was just so mad that he was just like pacing through his house. You know, like when you're just pacing with anger. And he's just pacing through his house. He can't believe it. He opens a drawer and he finds like a ring that he hadn't found in like 30 years. And he's like, huh, I found that in my drawer. That's interesting. He goes in the backyard. He starts digging a hole. He finds like a little pipe. He's like, huh, there's things to be discovered. I need to get to the ocean fucking right now. Like just fucking.
It's just so good.
And look, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's coming across very much so like we're making fun of Kevin Costner, and it's because we are. But I hope whatever journey Kevin Costner is on, I hope he comes out okay. I want to see Horizon Part 2, goddammit. And I
hope he gets what he needs out of this, and I hope that he shares what he finds on social media so we can watch it.
It's just like when
Does Kevin Costner have an Instagram where he posts this? That's the question.
I so doubt it, but I would love it. And you know, just when you see your friend going through something and like you could intervene, but you're like, you know what? They just need to do this. they just need to go through this stage and discover this on their own. Like, no one interfere. Just let it happen. It's just like
Kevin Costner does have an Instagram.
Please tell me.
The last post of which was October 11th, 2024. So I don't think we're going to be getting any plundering upgrades there.
Probably not.
There.
Probably not. Ugh. Anyway, guys, that's literally the whole story. I just wanted to talk about it so bad. So, what do you think of Kevin Costner digging for treasure in the ocean because he's so fucking mad about that article about him? Let us know in the comments. As we move on to our next story, and this next story was tailor-made just for Nick and I. I'm so happy that we're both here to talk about this. We're talking about Doctor Who. So fucking strap in, because whenever we talk about Doctor Who, it becomes a certain type of way, all right? This is what happens.
Now, we need to preface this. We are talking about Doctor Who, and everyone's going to remain calm. everyone's going to remain cool. And everyone's gonna be nice in the comments to each other.
Yes, for the love of God, please.
We are going to have civil Doctor Who discourse on this channel.
As civil as it can be. And the least shocking news of all time, it's officially confirmed that Disney has pulled out of their deal with Doctor Who to be a co-partner on the show and to put it on Disney Plus. They're done. Their deal will come to an end after The War Between the Land and the Sea. The spinoff with the Sea Devils and Kate Stewart comes out, I believe, at the end of 2025 in the UK and then early 2026 on Disney Plus in the US. So as soon as that's over, it will be out. That's not surprising at all, honestly. But it goes a little bit deeper than that, because when that was finally announced, more things started to get publicly brought up, publicly announced, more things started to come out. And one of the things is BBC obviously felt like they had to make an announcement of what to do with for the future of the show. And they said this: Doctor Who will return with a Christmas special in 2026. Not this year. It'd be a miracle if it was this year. So then that makes you go, oh, okay. They're going to take the year off because they didn't know if they were going to be part of the deal. Whatever. It happens. 2026 Christmas. That's still a long time, though. It's the whole year of 2026. You know what I mean? Like, before we get to that Christmas special. So it's like, that's an interesting way to look at it. The quote, I don't have it here because I'm bad at my job, but the quote that the BBC said in regard to that Christmas special was, we're very grateful to be continuing, I'm paraphrasing, but we're very grateful to be continuing the show, and we're very grateful that Russell T Davies has agreed to come write this special. Tinfoil hat now. Now we're getting into the shit, Nicholas. Now here it comes. I think he's done. I think they're giving him this episode to wrap up everything he's done in the new era, and we're going to get a new showrunner in 2027. And the reason why they're taking a whole year is so that showrunner can write a season and start shooting it. So that way, after Christmas, they have a season ready to go in 2027. So you don't have to wait again. And I think
wrap up a pretty big cliffhanger there.
You got a shit ton to wrap up. I think that's for sure. Like, they haven't said this. I think Russell's done. I think they're going to give him the last episode to wrap everything up. One step further. This is when I'm really reaching out there into the ether now, okay? I think Shudi's going to come back in the episode. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get him regenerating again. Or we get him for like a separate goodbye, and then the current iteration, or whatever Billy Piper is, then becomes the new Doctor. Because...
Go, all right. Let's hear the logic. Let's hear the reasoning.
Russell T's got a lot of stuff to wrap up. One of them is who the boss is, because they kept talking about the boss, right? The Meep, wait till I tell the boss, and even the Ronnie, wait till I get the boss. So you have that. You have the whole fucking Billy Piper thing to wrap up. You have Susan, if you want to bring that back, because the original ending, they were going to touch on that, but then they didn't. You have, oh my God, there was another thing that wasn't wrapped up that I'm not remembering now. But you basically have all of this to wrap up in one episode. Oh, and not only just when I say the Billy Piper thing, you have to clarify, is she the Doctor? What is going on? Like, you have to wrap that up. And I also would make Russell T Davies do it. Like, I know it's not like because Russell T could be like, oh, I'm done. And then some poor writer's going to be like, oh, so I got to come in and fucking fix this? No, fuck you. You come and fix it. And
what was your thought when you wrote this? And he goes, I thought it'd be a good ending. I didn't think past that.
And not only that, but Shooty coming back, where my mind goes there. What's a huge criticism of the show? I mean, there's a lot, but what's one big criticism regarding Shooty? Not his performance, but something he didn't get to do.
Daleks? Cyberman.
I think
any classic Who villain really.
I think, and through whatever reason, whether it be something like how we got Jodie at the end of Reality War, or we get if he just Billy Piper's there for a second, then it goes back to Shooty, whatever it is. I do think we'll get him one more time with the Dalek, so he can say he did it, and so Russell T can also just be like, all right, that's done, and go on from there, and then you get the new Doctor, you can start new, because let's be honest here. The Deadline article that I have pulled up goes into just so many reasons as to why the deal vaporized and all this stuff. It comes down to the show failed. Like honestly, and this is someone I'm a massive fan of Russell T Davies. The show failed. You failed to get, you had the resources. You had the moment to, make this a Marvel franchise. That, his words, not mine. And you had a really lackluster finale in season 1. And then you had an even worse finale in season 2. And I don't hate either season. The full seasons are fine. The endings are terrible. Terrible. And if you're Disney, you're like, fucking, all this for what? What are we doing here? And a lot of people from the BBC make statements. And there's one thing that really fucking pissed me off about this, okay? Because obviously you have people from BBC saying, it's Trump's America and people are going to be less, the show was too woke for people. I don't think that's true at all. I think the show's always been that way, and you just didn't write great stories, and that's what the problem was. But here's what pisses me off. And if Shooty does not come back, this is one of the reasons why. I have to find the quote, so just give me 1 second.
I mean, and here's the upsetting part, and I'll just give my thoughts on the Disney Plus. There's glimmers of excellent stuff within the Disney Plus series. I think it was just directionless on a whole. I felt like what makes Doctor Who great is there's always these overarching stories that you get little threads, but you're still able to have these one-off adventures. And I feel like that they dropped the ball significantly on that, because I thought that Shooty was an excellent Doctor. I thought he gave a great performance. He cries a lot, but to me that worked for the character, because especially what they set up, this is a Doctor that they were,
more in touch with their emotions and not
positioning. That's the word. Positioning as a Doctor that, he says it to David Tennant, I'm you, we're doing therapy in reverse. I am healed. I am renewed. This is a Doctor who's now more in tune with his emotions. So I thought that made sense for me. And I thought he brought an energy to the role that was just so palpable. And, I loved Jodie as well. I got so excited when she showed up in the finale.
Same.
I shot up. I was like, they brought her? I never thought I'd see her again. And it was the same thing with her. I think that both of them just suffered from very lackluster stories and weak writing. Because when you had that great episode, because there's always going to be one episode where you're like, all right, that was really good. There's standouts in it. They're incredible. And I think that just overall, it was just a ball drop. They tried to, they brought back Tennant. Now they're going Billy Piper. It got so focused on pitching itself as wanting to bring new people to Disney Plus, bring new people to Doctor Who, and then just relied on stories that were so inside baseball about Doctor Who that you were alienating whatever audience you were bringing in. They also tried to make it too much like I felt like it was Doctor Who Black Mirror, and that's just not the way to take Doctor Who.
Well, not only that, the article in Deadline also goes on to say that, can the show survive with the budget now being cut without Disney? First of all, the show survived.
I think it failed because they gave them too much money.
One, exactly. But two, the show survived so long with no money, it'll be fine. But three, Nick, the best episodes of the Disney show were the cheap ones. Like 73 Yards, and Boom, and The Well. I mean, The Well was a little bit more expensive, but it was still limited locations. It's like, those were the episodes where you're like, oh shit. I'll be honest, the only episode to me, and maybe if you pointed one out, I'd be like, okay, actually, no. The only episode where the more money made the episode better, not that the episode was good or bad or whatever, the only episode that made the episode, where money made the episode better, was the one with Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Because he looked phenomenal. Yeah. And you couldn't have pulled that off without the money. That's the only episode that was made better with money. That's it.
I mean, the filmmaking on display with how he interacted with Mr. Ring-a-Ding, like
Crazy.
I thought that was, no, I agree with you on that.
Crazy. But here's what pisses me off. Here's what I was alluding to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, there's a former Doctor Who actor who doesn't have the best relationship with Russell T Davies and Julie Gardner and the Phil Collinson, the producers. His name is Christopher Eccleston. You may have heard of him. He played the Ninth Doctor. He was the Doctor when Russell T Davies brought the show back in 2005. And he was at a convention with Billie Piper recently, which is funny, where a fan in the audience asked him, would you ever come back to the show? To which he responded, sack Russell T Davies, sack Julie Gardner, sack Phil Collinson, and I'll come back. Big words. But when you dive into why, when you go into his interviews of like, why do you fucking hate this like, what happened? He basically goes in and just says, they treated me terribly. And whenever I would stand up for people, they wouldn't listen to me. And then at the end, when we agreed that I would leave at the one season after we had our differences, which people have differences all the time, they had the BBC put out a statement that was completely false about me, saying that I was too tired. And that labeled me difficult to work with. And it really affected me for a long time, and I still haven't forgiven them for that. Let me point something that's in this fucking Deadline article, Nick, okay? I'm heated about this. I'm so mad about this.
Didn't he also, in that sack quote, also say, like, and make Billie Piper the Doctor?
Yes, which is really funny.
Didn't he have a quote about, like, that's what they should do?
Yeah, he did. Listen to this. Talking about Ncuti Gatwa, his experience felt somewhat fraught. He left after 2 seasons, later blamed burnout, with the 33-year-old actor saying, he was getting old and my body was tired. A Doctor Who source, so this isn't Disney, this is someone on the Doctor Who team. A Doctor Who source says the show suffered because Gatwa never fully embraced the role. There's more to this role than performing, this source said. You have to be an ambassador for the brand and embrace being the generation's Doctor. Matt Smith and David Tennant fully understood the responsibility that it carried. Are you fucking kidding me? That he didn't?
That's ridiculous.
That's fucking crazy. Saying Gatwa didn't embrace the role? Are you joking? 1, he was magnificent on the screen. 2, every time I opened TikTok or saw a Doctor Who ad, he was doing an interview with a kid or with a thing, doing something where he fully was embracing the role. He did a radio show where someone made a joke about Daleks being misunderstood, and he was like, I can't be on the show anymore. Like, it was one of the funniest things that was like, what do you mean, bro, that he never embraced being the role? That pissed me off. I'm like, no wonder Christopher Eccleston hates your guys' ass. That's a fucking terrible thing to say. And not only that, they said Matt Smith and David Tennant. You don't think Jodie Whittaker and Peter Capaldi also read that quote and go, oh, so fuck me, I guess. What do you mean by that? Like, that infuriated me, dude. I was so heated when I was reading the article and I saw that. I was so mad. But sorry, my audio probably peaked. I'm sorry, everybody.
Even just from a commitment standpoint, he is fully there. He's given it his all, you know, in all those episodes. Like, I never once thought he was phoning it in, even when he had shit to work with, you know, like and you know what that is? That does seem to just be fully validating of what Christopher Eccleston was saying. Because as far as we're concerned, those producers are still involved. You know, it seems like it's the same thing happening all over again.
100%. 100%. And like, it's so upsetting. But this now,
I think because of that statement, I think that invalidates your theory about Ncuti coming back.
Fair. And I think if he doesn't, it's because of that statement, for sure. For sure. Yeah. But and now, granted, it hasn't been confirmed that Russell T Davies is done after the Christmas special, by the way. I just think that the writing is on the wall, and we're going to hear that any day now. If that is the case, and we get a new showrunner, naturally, if people who know me and my relationship with the show say, oh, do you want Stephen Moffat to be the new showrunner? No. No, I don't. Now, granted, if they announced that, would I be excited? Fucking of course I would. It's me that we're talking about here. But I want it to just be someone who's never written on the show before. A brand new writer who's a fan, who has an idea. Just come in.
No, it needs fresh blood all around.
Come in and take it.
Revitalize this. Yeah,
100%. Cut the budget in half, hell, 2/3. Fuck it, and just fucking go crazy. That's what needs to happen to the show. Honestly, and again, I want to emphasize, I didn't fully hate the Russell T Davies 2 era. I didn't hate it. The finales of both seasons were just so not great that it creates this thing in you of like, what was the point? Like, why did we do this? Like, if we were just gonna not end on notes that mattered at all, it goes to just show the importance of your finale. You know what I mean?
Here's a question for you, though. All right, now let's say a new season does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is this now season? If it's going back to the BBC, is it now season 14? Is it season 3? Is it season 43? Whatever it is, how are they going to handle that? And where does the Christmas special lie?
Dude, great question. Honest to God, I don't know, because I feel like Disney's going to own these streaming rights for a while, like to these 2 seasons.
Because like on IMDb, for example, there's 2 Doctor Who listings. There's the Shurigawa, and then there's well, I think the Shurigawa one also includes the
Tenet specials.
The Tenet specials, So I see it just going back to that first one with all the other ones and just saying, nope, this is season 14, and that's a blip. We went here for a little bit, and this is an Elseworld now.
Yeah, I honestly, if it were me, and I'm running the show, I'm calling the new season. Let's see, it would have been, I think 14 and 15 would have been these 2. I would call it, I would just call the new season 16. And just,
yeah.
And fuck IMDb, fuck all that. That doesn't matter. In the long run, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just like,
this is it. Yeah.
Just like, this is what it is, and you can call it whatever you want, and go from there. And honestly, what a great piece of IMDb trivia in 50 years when someone's like looking back and they see it jump from season 13 to 16, and they're like, what happened to 14 and 15? And they Google, like, what happened to Doctor Who? Oh, it was, oh. And then they look into that, and then by then, this huge documentary has come out about the whole situation.
I love the idea of someone just watching, like, to a point where they're all, like, in line on a shared streaming service that you can watch them, and just seeing, like, getting to 14, be like, what is this quality jump? And then going back to like 16, it's like, okay, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's anyway, that was a very long rant about Doctor Who, everybody. But we knew that was going to happen. But anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Disney officially pulling out of the Doctor Who deal? Do you think it's going to be in better hands back at the BBC? Are you like me? Do you think Russell T Davies is done after the Christmas special? Or do you think, it'd be really funny is if he did the Christmas special and didn't wrap a single goddamn thing up. That would be really
Merry
funny.
Christmas. It's just a random thing that he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, geez. We'll see. But anyway, moving on to our next story. And you might be thinking, well, how does this relate to the previous story? Well, it's just further proof that we are living in the worst timeline possible. So, we've been following, somewhat religiously, the sale of Warner Brothers. The Warner Brothers has officially said that they're for sale. There were active bidders. It looked like it was just going to be Paramount for a while, but other people have come in, NBC Universal, other companies as well. Every time I think of the companies, Apple, Amazon. But one thing I said last week was that the only scenario, I don't want them to be sold, but the worst case scenario that I would absolutely hate is if Netflix ended up with Warner Brothers. Like, that would be horrible because they don't have a commitment to theatrical. They just care about their algorithm and their streaming, and they would take literally franchises like all of DC, all of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like all of these things that they own, and I think Amazon owns Lord of the Rings now, but like all of these IPs and just put them on streaming. It would be an awful thing, and like I would just hate it. Well, Netflix is so real about putting in a bid to buy Warner Brothers that they've now hired the same investment bank that helped Skydance buy Paramount. Fuck, I could not be more worried about this. It's literally to the point where now I'm like, I feel like if you're Zaslav, you just have to convince the shareholders that in the long run it would be a bad move for the company. Like if we sold to Netflix. Literally, unless Netflix commits,
because it would be.
Yeah, literally, unless Netflix commits to full theatrical releases to the number of films that Warner Brothers would put out normally. What an awful thing for the film industry. Like this would be detrimentally terrible, not only for the theatrical reasonings, but also the library of film at Warner Brothers. You're talking about like Casablanca. Do you think Netflix gives a fuck about film preservation? No, of course they don't. And like, do you want Dune 4 to be a Netflix movie? You probably don't. Like, you want that movie to come out in theaters. Like
all of DC Studios.
All of DC Studios, all of Harry Potter. Like, it would be a nightmare. Now,
Harry Potter's already a streaming, though, so...
Well, but here's the thing. You think Netflix would love that to be a Netflix original instead? Now, from Netflix's point of view, where it really actually becomes a lucrative deal, Nicholas, is all of HBO. That is, from if I'm running Netflix, like, if I can strip you for parts, I would buy HBO. And then imagine Netflix having the entire HBO library. That would be insane. And it's one of those things where, like, this actually scares me that this could happen. Like, I really don't want this to happen. And now Netflix has said, Ted Sarandos himself, CEO of Netflix, has said that they're not interested in every part of Warner Brothers. So they don't care about CNN, the legacy networks, like all that stuff. They don't give a shit. They want movies and television. That's what they want. And if they put in a bid for the whole company, they would either have to buy the whole company and then sell the networks, or wait for Warner Brothers to split, which was always an option that we've talked about, and then buy the parts. Or are they going to be looking for parts? Like, I'm sure that this bank that's helping them, that helps Skydance, is just giving them every route possible. Like, here's how we could do this. Here's how we could do that. Like, literally, unless Netflix decides we're just going to be in the theatrical business now, this is a fucking horrible thing for the film industry. Your thoughts?
No, I agree. I like the idea of Warner Brothers splitting. Like, we'll take the Warner, you keep the brothers, you know? Sorry.
You thought about that one for a while, didn't you?
I did. I'm very proud of it. No, I mean, unless Netflix, I'm not going to be on board with this unless Netflix starts really prioritizing theatrical, if they want to become a theatrical studio, you know. But, you know, the idea of a lot of these things becoming Netflix original releases, you know, I don't think the prestige with Netflix is there to want to do it. You know, putting Superman on your platform as an original, I don't think is going to drive subscribers to your streaming service. I just don't, without a theatrical release. And it's just money on the table, you know, and I think it's just bad, man.
Yeah, it's not good.
Don't do it.
It's not good at all.
Warner Brothers has such a big library, especially when you get into like HBO Max and everything like that. Like, I mean, it's just, right? They own HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the IPs that they own, the intellectual properties that they have, I mean, I think it would be bad. That's my thought. It makes me sad, man.
It makes me sad too, because like for those wondering, like, you keep saying that this would be a horrible thing. Like, why would it be a horrible thing? If you take one of the most powerhouse movie studios, like, think about the year that Warner Brothers has had theatrically, with Sinners, Weapons, all of the Conjuring, all the wins that they've had this year. Imagine taking that, putting it into a streaming giant that just puts out films at random, essentially, with almost no marketing, and taking things that typically had a proven track record of making money and doing well in one industry, suddenly disappearing. Because, you know, we've talked about it all the time. What does Netflix want? Movie theaters to fucking die. And Ted Sarandos has been kind of open about that. They're in the streaming business. What's streaming's biggest competition? Fucking movie theaters. Like, if they could take out a chess piece, they're going to do it. Because then it's going to bring more people to them. Because, like, honestly, I would say, oh, please commit to putting DC and Harry Potter and just these original theatrical films into theaters every year, please. And they might go, no. Man of Tomorrow is a Netflix original. How disgusting does that sound? That's just terrible. But it's like, it would, financially, powerhouse, a lot of people would lose jobs and money. And then two, from a pop culture standpoint, nothing of value would come from that. What happens every single year? The biggest movies on a streaming service are things that came out in theaters first because they have that pop culture relevance. If Sinners was an original Netflix movie, it would not have done as well. If Weapons was an original Netflix movie, it would not have done as well. If the Conjuring franchise was a Netflix original, they would not be at the Conjuring fucking 15 that they're at right now. It's because these movies franchise, it's because these movies are theatrical and because they found an audience and hit a certain level of the pop cultural zeitgeist that they even do well on a streaming service later. Television's a little bit different. Television's evolved, but movies, that's how it is. It would be detrimentally bad.
I mean, it's been proven time and time again. I think it's just fact at this point. The movies perform better once they've been in theaters and hit streaming.
And not only that, but it's just one of those things where, like, everything bad I said about Paramount, I take back. Like, you can have Warner Brothers, it's okay. Just please don't let Netflix have it.
Like, let them do it. Let them do it. Let them take it. Let them take it.
I would love if Comcast got Universal, or if Apple got not Universal, if Comcast got Warner Brothers, or if Apple got Warner Brothers. Those are my two, like, that would be cool to me.
I'm waiting for the drop of Amazon throwing their hat in the ring.
I know.
They've been making big moves lately, Amazon. Yeah.
Why does it have to be other studios? Like, why can't Walmart buy Warner Brothers? You know what I mean?
To see what happens.
And just keep it the same. It's just owned by Walmart now.
Walmart presents Harry Potter, the series.
Yeah. Listen. I'm going to use this sad, somber note to transition into our next story. Because, as I've been mentioning, the only way I'm okay with Netflix buying Warner Brothers is if they do a full promise commitment to release theatrical films at the rate that they're being released. They've warmed up more to theatrical than they ever have been in the past couple months. Whether it be through K-pop Demon Hunters doing really well when they put it in theaters for that one weekend, whether it be Glass Onion doing well when they released it, the deal that they've made with Greta Gerwig and Narnia coming out either this year or next, I think it's next year. Adding to that list, for our story, they are exploring a full theatrical rollout for The Adventures of Cliff Booth, the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is something that we've wanted. We've wanted this to go theatrical ever since they announced the movie happening. And I love this, obviously, if they do go through with it. One, because I love David Fincher. I hate that a lot of his films have been Netflix-oriented. And I am glad, like, if they give it theatrical, like, please. One, because the original one was theatrical, and it became a huge pop cultural icon later on. And two, I don't want to see that movie on Netflix. Like, I want to watch that movie on the big screen. And if they put this movie, I don't think, I'm joking when I say there's so much riding on you going to see Cliff Booth in the movie theater. Like, you better go out and make sure it makes money, or else.
Knives Out as well.
Knives Out and Narnia. Like, you got to go out and do these things, or else it's over. And the hope that I have here is I'm going to pull from this Variety article talking about Netflix warming up to theatrical. Variety says, Netflix appears to be warming up to the big screen, which outsiders attribute to either a belated recognition that theatrical movies tend to have more cultural staying power, or a reaction to losing projects like Wuthering Heights to Warner Brothers, funny, or talent including the Duffer Brothers heading to Paramount due to them getting theatrical. Unlike traditional studios, however, Netflix sees multiplexes not as a financial strategy, but rather a marketing stunt to excite the fandoms of its major properties with the goal of the interest giving driven back to the platform. By enlisting AMC locations, Netflix will be able to expand the reach of each of its theatrical content for AMC. These one-off events could provide additional revenue during slower items of the year. And it goes on to talk about that they're even talking about making a deal with AMC to put the finale of Stranger Things in movie theaters, which would be very interesting and cool. Hey, if you want to write it off as a marketing expense, fine. Just put it in the theater.
Do it. Yeah.
Just do it. I don't care how you view it. Just do it. Please. Please put more things in theaters. And listen, the reality of this is one that's going to hurt my feelings, but it's true. If this could mean the end of physical media for all Warner Brothers titles. Oh, that hurts. But just hear me out. Netflix, if they make the move to actually put if they buy Warner Brothers to put their films in theaters and their originals in theaters or whatever, the goal, like the article said, has to be to get people excited to watch it back on Netflix, which means you can't watch it anywhere else. Which means it comes out in the theater, it stays for a month, 60 days, and then it's available on Netflix. There's no window to buy it on physical media. And look, that makes me sad. If it guarantees me, if you came with like a genie or a magic, magic has rules where you get one good thing and a bad thing happens. If someone came to me and said, I can promise you that Netflix will release every Warner Brothers movie theatrically, but you can never get Warner Brothers physical media ever again, I'd do it. That would hurt my soul, but I would do it.
Paw wish.
Yeah.
Monkey paw wish.
But I would do it. Like if that's what has to happen. But any last minute thoughts on this before we move on?
I mean, I think that the biggest issue that they're going to face going with wider theatrical releases is marketing, because I think that Netflix is marketing for any of their property, even their prestige, even if they're big. Even Stranger Things' final season is just shit. Their marketing's terrible across the board. They've never been good at it. And I think that marketing a film in theaters is a completely different beast than marketing a TV show or even a movie on your streaming platform. And I don't think they're prepared for that. And I hope that they don't, whatever marketing they roll out for a Cliff Booth movie, they're probably going to fail first time out of the gate. And I'm worried that that's going to scare them and they're going to like retreat back into their shell. And it's something that takes time and it takes energy. And I just haven't seen the commitment from a marketing standpoint from Netflix for any of those things. But I think with how well the K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along performed and how now they're agreeing with AMC, I think that their attitude is changing from a theatrical standpoint.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we're going to get the full 97-day theatrical release window, No. I think it's going to be more in line with the 17, a limited release, a 2-week stint, maybe up to a month, but it's going to be on Netflix pretty quickly right after. And I think that's going to be the biggest issue too is, it's like the theatrical run is going to leave and it's going to be available next day on Netflix. And I think you need to have that gap, but I know they're not going to do it. They need at least a month gap from what it's going to release on Netflix. I mean, Frankenstein's in theaters. We got a chance to go and see it in theaters, the one screen in Orlando that had it, but it's on Netflix at the end of this week, I think, like it's to what point? Why would you spend your money to go see it unless you value the theatrical experience? But I could see a majority of people, especially families, with the cost of tickets, they're gonna be like, oh, we'll just watch it at home in a week. Why spend the money? Yeah.
But the longer you make that wait, like you said, the more enticing it is to not be missing out on the movie.
Exactly. Oh, I can see Frankenstein a month early before it hits Netflix. Absolutely. I could see Knives Out a month before it hits Netflix. Absolutely. They should have put Knives Out all of November and then put it on Netflix Christmas Day for families.
Yeah.
But people are going to want to see it early, but they're not going to do that.
No, I'm with you. But guys, what do you think about the potential worst news of all time that Netflix could buy Warner Brothers? Let us know in the comments. As we move on to a positive story, we got to bring the mood back up here. Nick, I can't fucking believe this is real. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I saw this and my day got better. It's one of those where like I was having a shit day at work. I saw this and I looked into my reflection in the window and said, everything's going to be okay. Like this is going to be fine. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, and we've reported several times, Steven Spielberg is making a UFO film that comes out in 2026 that That's all we really know about it, other than some cast members. It's Spielberg. It's exciting. We're there. It's going to happen. We love it. Everything's going to be wonderful. 93-year-old John Williams is coming back to score the UFO film for Steven Spielberg, as confirmed by Variety. They also say almost nothing is known about the narrative of the upcoming movie, which is due in theaters in 2026. This is so fucking amazing, and I let a few days go before putting it as part of the show, just in case they could have the room to come out and make a statement and go, actually, it's not true. This shit's happening, baby. If it was not real, they would have said something by now. First of all, let's just talk about the fact that John Williams is 93.
Insane.
And Steven was making a movie and he said, I'm waiting for my call, motherfucker. Like, when are we going to go out and do this? First of all, that's great. Secondly, John Williams is at the age now. I mean, he's been at the age for 20 years where each film he does could be his last. So, like, the fact that we're getting another one is just a blessing. Like, I remember going to see Indiana Jones 5, Dial of Destiny, and thinking to myself in the theater, this could be the last John Williams score I ever hear. Like I have to be grateful for this moment. Now I get him with Spielberg again? Oh! Oh, life is so good. You know it's going to be amazing. You know when these two work together, it's just nothing but pure cinema magic. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be really exciting. And just, again, anything he does could be the last thing he does. So I choose to be grateful anytime I hear that he's working on something new. So I can't fucking wait for this. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it's excellent news. I mean, one of the great partnerships in all of cinema, I think, is Steven Spielberg and John Williams, and they're great together. I joke a lot of times, I make fun, just to get a rise out of you saying, oh, he's just a hack and repeats himself. He's one of the greatest film composers of all time. And one of the great partnerships, and a lot of those scores that he's done that are incredible were with Steven Spielberg. And the idea of them coming back now for their 30th collaboration for something that seems like it's been a passion project of Steven Spielberg's from a long time, from the very limited information that we know about this. I think it's very exciting. I think we're in for something truly special here, at least from a score standpoint. The buddies getting back together to make a movie. I think it's the positivity we need in the movie news cycle, based on all the doom and gloom we get all the time, and just all the doom and gloom in the news. This is a great story.
I completely agree with you. And on top of that, Steven Spielberg has made a bad film before. I don't think John Williams has ever misunderstood the assignment. Ever. Like, so...
He is not.
The fact that we're getting another one is great. The fact that it's with Spielberg is immaculate. Like,
the fact that it's got the UFO sci-fi tinginess to it, even better.
Dude, they worked on Jaws 50 years ago. Like, Steven Spielberg was in his 20s. Like, imagine 70-something-year-old Steven Spielberg coming to you. You're 93, and you have a 50-year history working together. And, as soon as he saw him, he was like, all right, what am I doing? What am I scoring? What's going on?
Imagine being the 40-year-old John Williams getting yelled at by 20-year-old Steven Spielberg about the Jaws score.
Not only that, but, like, the fact that John Williams could have come back to do, like, Star Wars shows and do, like, things that he's also synonymous with, and was like, no, I'll do Indiana Jones, but, no. And then a random original IP, or not even IP, a random original movie from Steven Spielberg, he's like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm in. Like, that's so exciting. That's so exciting.
That's great. No, it's great news. I'm excited.
Anyway, guys, what do you think about this? Let us know in the comments what you think about John Williams coming back at 93 years old to score Steven Spielberg's new movie. As we move on to what might be in the almost 10 years of doing this show, might be the funniest news story I've ever encountered. Certainly the most petty. And if you thought the Kevin Costner one earlier was funny, just wait a fucking second before I get to this. Roadhouse 2 is something we've been following for a while. the Roadhouse sequel starring Jake Gyllenhaal, the sequel to Doug Liman's film Roadhouse, which was the remake of the 1989 Roadhouse. Guy Ritchie was originally set to direct Roadhouse 2 after Doug Liman was obviously not going to quit due to his fight with Amazon. Guy Ritchie dropped out. It eventually got a new director, but the film was moving on. It even cast, I believe, another actor alongside Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, it was moving forward, getting ready to shoot. Well, in something that is so insane that you can't write something this good. Like this is how you know it's real. Like, you can't...
I want a movie about this story.
Doug Liman, who, when he directed the remake of Roadhouse for Amazon, was openly shitting on Amazon for not giving the film a theatrical release, saying that the deal he made included taking a lower fee up front for box office points, only to find out that there'd be no box office, was going in, and Amazon saying that's not true, that he's being just ridiculous, and Jake Gyllenhaal just not commenting, and just like the mess of that movie coming out was one thing. As Amazon is getting ready to make a sequel to their film, Roadhouse, Doug Liman came up with a petty little plan. He reached out to the original screenwriter of the 1989 Roadhouse, R. Lance Hill, and said, hey, if memory serves correct, you just got the rights to Roadhouse back. To which the writer said, yes, I did. To which he responded, well, if they're not going to let me make Roadhouse 2 for them, let's make Roadhouse 2 for us. And Doug Liman is attempting to make a direct sequel to 1989's Roadhouse to combat the sequel to his own movie from Amazon. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. There's no fucking way this movie actually comes out. Like there's no way. But just the fact that it's already gotten this far. Like, you can read this Deadline article. It's crazy. Like, it talks about how the rights news was a shock to Amazon. And they tried to argue, like, no, you wrote that as an employee for the studio. And he was like, no. I wrote that as a spec, which means it comes back to me after a certain period of time. And that time has elapsed. The movie now belongs to me, which has now called into question if Amazon has the rights to even make another Roadhouse movie. Which means there's a chance that Amazon can't make Roadhouse anymore. And the only one that comes out is the Doug Liman one.
I mean, it's an insane move. If he can pull this off, this is going to go down as one of the greatest bits. Like the fact that he's not even making a sequel to his remake, but just making a direct sequel to the original is just the funniest. Rights are a big deal. People underestimate how important rights ownership is in Hollywood, and it's because you can piss off a director and he'll just go to the source and get it.
As someone who has made short films that are streaming on streaming services for purchase, the legal fees I have spent, brother, on making sure that I'm not infringing on any rights deals that exist is ridiculous. I know firsthand rights situations and how crazy they are. And this is just so crazy. Like, what is going to end up happening is Amazon's going to go to them and be like, how much do you want to just shut the fuck up and go away and make sure that we have the rights to do this? And they're going to get paid. And honestly, good for Doug Liman. if that ends up happening, good for him. But if Doug Liman says no to the money, and it's like, fuck you, I'm making Roadhouse 2. Top 3 petty of all time. Like, better than James Cameron, better than Ridley Scott.
He needs to line up the release dates.
Same day, yes. And this is assuming Amazon's even allowed to keep making a movie.
That would also be insane.
No, dude, if they released it on the same day, that would be so fucking funny. Oh my god.
Even if it's a failure, even if the Jake Gyllenhaal one wins everything, the fact that he did it
Yes.
makes him the winner. The fact that he pulled it off and said, you know, fuck you, genius.
That would be a sight to see, a day to behold. That is like literally I read I just can't believe this is happening. Like, it's so fucking funny. And again, we know how it ends. They're going to get bought out and then it's going to go away, but man, it's good. Man, it's good. Oh, I promised to my audience I will cover every part of this story as information comes out. Whenever something new about this story happens, you will hear about it. I swear to God. Oh, man. I just love this. Oh. So good. So good.
Genius.
Any final thoughts before we move on to the B-roll?
No, just hell yeah, man. Go for it. I'm watching this. I'm watching this with great intrigue.
I hope he pulls it off. I really hope he pulls it off. Guys, let us know in the comments, what do you think about Doug Liman saying, fuck you, I'm making my own Roadhouse 2, in spite of a sequel to his movie still being made by Amazon? Let us know in the comments as we move on to the B-roll. And this is going to be quick. These are just stories that have updates or headlines that we wanted to talk about, but didn't have time to go into fully in depth. Nick, we're going to start with this. We already know that there's a Christmas Carol movie coming from director Robert Eggers, which we're very excited about, but there's another one coming from Ty West, starring Johnny Depp as Ebenezer Scrooge, to which begs the question, why? But listen, I was a big fan of the X trilogy from Ty West. I thought that Maxine was the weakest, but still not crazy. I'm interested in the movie. I can't say I'm asking for it. Like, if we're going to compare, I'm more excited for Robert Eggers' version, obviously. But, like, I'm somewhat intrigued by this. How do you feel?
Yeah, definitely more interested in the Robert Eggers ones. I think I wish I had more, because I know we're getting like Werewolf with Robert Eggers and like he's, you know, making it. I feel like I wish for more original from Ty West.
Mm-hmm.
But sure, let's see what he does. You know, maybe that's this an IP like this is what propels him forward. I don't think I need dueling Christmas Carol movies.
Yeah.
From horror directors, you know.
Yeah, fair. And
the Muppets already have a perfect one.
And so does Doctor Who. But I think that this is going to be the real audience test for, is the audience ready for Johnny Depp to come back? I think that this is going to be it. So
yeah, that too. There's the Johnny Depp of it all. I'm like, this seems like a Hail Mary project.
Yeah.
For both of them, you know. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, interesting is a good word for it. We had talked about recently that it was rumored that Michael B. Jordan and Austin Butler were in talks for the Miami Vice remake, or reboot, I should say, movie from director Joseph Kosinski. Well, it has been confirmed from Deadline that Austin Butler and Michael B. Jordan are in talks for those roles. Nothing really to add here other than it's now official, and we just wanted to follow up and let you know that looks like it's going to happen. So look forward for an announcement from the studio anytime soon. Next in the B-roll, Zeb Wells is writing a Buck Rogers movie. I don't care at all. I just know that maybe there's someone out there who does, and so I wanted to let you know, whoever you may be. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I don't know Buck Rogers, so I got nothing here.
Listen, we had to say it. I hope we get one comment that's like, dude, Buck Rogers, fuck yeah, I've been waiting so long. And lastly on the B-roll, and I debated making this a main topic story, but, you know, I digress. Jason Statham is once again teaming up with Guy Ritchie in terms of file this under Hope for the World. And not only are they teaming up, but the movie they're working on is called Viva La Madness, which is the book sequel to Layer Cake. And Layer Cake was Matthew Vaughn's directorial debut. We all know that him and Guy Ritchie are very great friends. I believe Jason Statham is going to play the role that Daniel Craig played in the original. And I don't foresee this being like an actual movie sequel to Layer Cake. It's just going to be like its own movie with the same character name, like in a separate kind of world. But I do think it's interesting that they're going to that well when him and Matthew Vaughn are such close friends. Did you have any thoughts on this?
I like Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham collab, so I'm there.
Me too. I loved Operation Fortune. I loved Wrath of Man, the second half especially. And, you know, you got to take the wins where you can get them, really.
And I love Jason Statham. I'm so excited for Beekeeper 2.
Oh, buddy. Me too. As you know.
The Hive. Hashtag protect the Hive.
Gotta protect the Hive. We did have like an off the real controversial question to go over, but I want to save that because we're already running at fucking over 90 minutes and we got to get to the next thing. So guys, with that down, it's now time for the box office.
The box office.
Now, this is not going to be the box office that just ended today, Sunday. This is going to be the box office for last week because the show's typically on Friday and we cover the previous weekend's box office. So, with that said, on last week's show, I had predicted Chainsaw Man number 1, Black Phone 2 number 2, Regretting You number 3, Springsteen number 4, and One Battle number 5. I got a few right. I got Chainsaw Man at number 1 correct, Springsteen at 4 correct, and that's it. But Tron Ares came in 5th, and Regretting You and Black Phone switch. Regretting You came in 2nd, Black Phone came in 3rd. By $1 million, I was off, but that happens. It's okay. Let's go ahead and pull up the box office now. Chainsaw Man, as I mentioned, came in 1st with $18 million in its opening weekend. Regretting You with 13.6 in its opening weekend. Black Phone 2 dropping 53% in week 1 to week 2, making $12.9 million. And Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere in 4th in its opening weekend at $8 million, or 8.8. I had said when I made the prediction that the target audience for that are not opening weekend people. It's just going to keep probably making $8 million for 12 weeks or so. And then Tron Ares dropping 56% from week 2 to week 3, making $4.9 million. That was your top 5. Let's dive into a little bit more here. Shelby Oaks, I want to point out Chris Stuckman's directorial debut, opened at $2.3 million. And let's go in here. Chainsaw Man now has $121 million worldwide. I think it's going to be just fine. Regretting You now has $37 million worldwide. The production budget's not listed here. I don't imagine it was that much higher than that, but they're probably right around its budget now. And if they want theatrical profitability, have to do a little bit better. Black Phone 2 now has $95 million worldwide on a budget of 30. That's at 3.2. That's profitability, baby. Good for Scott Derrickson and Blumhouse. They really kind of needed that win. Springsteen has $23 million worldwide. The budget's not listed here. I can almost guarantee you that shit's higher, so we'll see how that goes in terms of theatrical profitability. Tron Ares now has $128 million worldwide on a budget of $180. Yikes, 0.7 times the budget. We'll see where that ends up in its final run. I also added a few more. Good Fortune has $15 million worldwide. This stars Keanu Reeves and Aziz Ansari, and the budget's not listed here. I can already tell you that that's probably losing a little bit of money. Well, maybe not. It could be, if it was budgeted at like 6, but I doubt it. That's probably just how much Keanu costs alone, so we'll see. Shelby Oaks from Chris Stuckman now has $4 million worldwide. And you may be thinking that's not a lot of money, but it was only made for 2.8, so it's at 1.4 times that production budget. So we'll see where it ends up in terms of theatrical profitability, but has a little bit longer to go. And One Battle After Another now has $186 million worldwide on a budget of 140. It's at 1.3 times that budget. Like we said, it likely won't see theatrical profitability, but it will most likely end up being a big Oscar player, so can't be too mad about that. Nicholas, let's get out of here and do our predictions for next week.
Oh, boy. So, wait. Hold on.
Oh, wait. We can't do predictions because they're out.
Yeah. I was trying to figure that one out in my head.
Yeah.
No, we'll have to do predictions on this coming Friday show.
Yes. Yes.
Pending.
Yes. I won't do the box office for this weekend now, though, because I want to do it on Friday. But, yes.
Yeah.
Imagine if you just pulled it up and you were like, oh, I think it's going to be this.
If I had to guess. If I had to guess the placement. If you're going to make me guess, I'm happy to oblige.
Oh, God. That's funny. Anyway, guys, thank you for sticking around for the longer show today. Again, we've had a lot of stuff to talk about, and we are a few days late. We're going to try to be back to our regular scheduled programming on Friday. We'll keep you updated as we move into the holiday season. As you know, at some point, we are going to be taking our hiatus, where we just leave from, like, late November to fucking January, and we disappear. So that is coming up, but as we get the details of when that's actually happening, we'll let you know. Guys, there's going to be an absolute fuck ton of movie reviews coming out, so be ready for that, because that's also what happens at the end of the year, is we get all these screenings and all these screeners.
And those will also be during the hiatus as
Yes.
well. We will still be popping in for movie reviews.
Of course. And if there are any major Oscar updates, we will pop in for those as well. I like having the first show back be about the Oscars, which is always fun. So, guys, with that down, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next show.